Okay, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here. My name is Chaney Ho. I'm the co-founder and also executive board director of Advantech. So being in Taida is very, it's really my honor. And I know in this few days, Taida is very busy. It got a lot of press publicity. Okay, anyway, we are away from the main gate, so I don't need to worry about that. So first, today I'd like to talk about the innovation and also about the mega trend and also some of the disruptive technology. Okay, so please allow me to give you a little bit. I believe some of my colleagues has been in your class, right? So you must know Advantech a little bit. So I very quickly again to let you know, Advantech has been 35 years. We are established in 1983, and we have around 8,000 employees globally. In Taiwan, we have 3,500 employees, and we have more than 2,000 employees globally in US, in China, in Europe, in Japan, in Korea. And our market cap nowadays is about 5 billion US dollars. Okay, so we focus on smart city and industrial 4.0. And this is what I just mentioned. We have 26. We have a sales office in 26 countries, and we have 4 logistics centers in the world. We have 2 major manufacturing, one in Taipei and one in Kunshan, China. And we have, this is our global presence. We have, as I mentioned, we have 500 employees in Europe and US and also China. Okay, and we are ranked by the IoT One Institute. We are the top 47 IoT company in the world. Okay. Okay, let me talk about today. So you probably understand that in every industry, you will see some industrial leader. They're working very hard to become a leader, climb to the top of the mountain, become an industrial leader. But actually, at the same time, there are some, I call it a market disruptor. They are working very hard, but the industrial leader grow very fast. But suddenly you will find those the industrial leader, they fall down very short time, in 1 or 2 years or 2 or 3 years, fall down, and in the end, date. So you heard about the company like Nokia, right? Nokia has been the 60% of the smartphone, the #1 in the world. But just within 2 years, they become 0. So from hero to 0. Why? And the other example is the Codex. You heard about Codex, but you are young. You never had this kind of experience to use the film to take a picture. Now you are born in the digital world. So you use the smartphone, use the digital camera. But Kodak actually is a 100 years old company, very, very famous in my age. When we were young, we used the film to take a picture. But why Nokia and Kodak, they are all the industrial leader, and in very short time, date. Why? And that's because there are some industrial disruptive. They come in, join the game, and then make them date. So they have a deep growth for those competitors. Why that happened? I think mainly 3 reasons happen in this period. First one is either because of the mega trend. Second one is because of the disruptive technology. The third one, I would say, is the innovative business model. So this is the three key reasons that make the giant, the hero, become zero, and make the nobody become somebody. That's all because of these three. So what is the mega trend? So this reason is the first one is a mega trend. Second one is a disruptive technology. And third one is an innovative business model. So as a business school student, I think you should know that. Why? Because this will happen. This will happen again and again in the future. So you always need to understand this. Mega trend, disruptive, and also business model. So let me review some of the mega trends today. So I just point some. There are many mega trends now happening or was happening in the past. The first one is the urbanization. Urbanization means that all the people are moving to the city, like it's Taipei City. So by definition, by the UN report, by year 2050, 75% of the global population will move to the city, like Taipei, like Tokyo, like Shanghai, like LA, like New York. All the people crowded at the city. That will create a new opportunity for smart city. So some of the companies will take this opportunity of mega trend to become a leader in smart city. The second trend I like to point out is the globalization and deglobalization. I will talk it later. So let's create the current global trading war between US and China nowadays. And third one is the platform economic. The platform economic we call is a 平台经济. So all the middlemen will be gone, will be dead. So this is the third trend. And the last trend I like to share is the share economic. Okay, you heard about share economic. You know about the 共享单车, right? U-Bike actually is part of the share economic. So then, because of the share economic, that people don't need to produce so many cars. Because of, actually last 2 weeks I met the CEO of Giant. Giant is a bicycle company in Taiwan. He told me their business in China impact a lot. At least the 40% drop in China, just because of the 共享单, the share bicycle. So all of the mega trend will impact your business. So if you don't foresee that, if you don't predict that, if you don't take counter action, your company may run into big trouble. So that's the reason why the globalization, I mean, is very important. So urbanization that lead to the smart city, because all the people moving to the city to create the issue of traffic, security, also the healthcare issues, education issues. So because of the people moving to the city, that lead to the requirement for the smart city, smart transportation, smart healthcare, and the smart retailing. And the second part is, I show you some of the example. You heard about the ETC, right? In Taiwan, if you go on the highway, there's no toll station anymore in Taiwan since 7 years ago. And Taiwan, the first country to implement 100% of ETC on the highway. Means there's no toll station in highway. You still see a lot of toll stations in China, in US, in every country. Taiwan is the first country move out all of the toll station, replace the toll station with a gantry. So in the gantry, they install a RFID reader and also the camera. And every car will install a E-Tech. You know E-Tech? E-Tech actually is a sensor. So they put the sensor on the car. So when the car passes through the gantry, so they will sense your car. So you pass this location at what time, at what speed, in which length, They record all of the data. And they put all the data into the computer in the low site. And then they send the data into the cloud, ETC cloud. So when your car move forward, in 10 kilometers, you will encounter another gantry. So one by one, so when you take exit from the highway, the system, the cloud, the ETC cloud already record all of the mileage you pass through. And then they will calculate how much you need to pay. So they will deduct the toll from your banking account. So this is the system we have now. But this is 70 years, so it's different. Everyone needs to stop in front of the gate of the toll station. And you need to quit, you need to queue. And then you give the ticket or pay the money to the collector. And then you go. So by doing that, in the past, it consumed a lot of energy, consumed a lot of time, and waste a lot of time and waste of the money. But with this kind of technology, this is an IoT technology. This is a sensor, and they read all the data and put into the cloud, and then connect this cloud with another cloud. So to provide 100% automation toll collection. This is the IoT. It's a part of the smart cities. And the other application is the smart healthcare, smart hospital. So by adopting a app, iOS or Android, you can download an app. So you can make appointment with your doctor through your app. And when the date of appointment, you don't need to go to the outpatient room in the morning so early. You just check the sequence of the doctor you make appointment. What is his sequence? So you don't need to go to the outpatient room so early. So you can check from your mobile phone when you should arrive the outpatient room. By doing that, you can reduce a lot of your time. And you don't need to gathering, every patient don't need to gathering in front of the outpatient room to reduce the disease possibility. So with this kind of apply the ICT technology, we are able to improve the efficiency of the hospital and also improve the satisfaction of the patient. And this is another example, parking. So by adopting the sensor, you can install the sensor on the parking slot. So when the parking slot was occupied, when you parking on the parking slot, the video will catch up your license plate. So they will recognize your cars parking here. Then they will start to counting the charge. Okay, when you left, they will recognize when you left. And then they will charge how long you park. And also they can provide the parking information through the cloud service. So this is one of the example, one of the application in smart city. So I predict in 5 years, all of the city parking slot will be used this kind of new intelligent parking system. Okay, and this is another example. But I think U-Bike. I guess you guys use this quite frequently in Taipei. So this is one of the example of IoT. So this is the trend of global urbanization that create a new business opportunity. The second mega trend I like to talk is globalization and the deglobalization. So let's look at this globalization path. So the second globalization is start from 1989. So when the Berlin Wall fall down. This is in 1989. From that years, more than 2 billion young workforce join the global economics. The young working force, the young workforce from China, from India, from Brazil, from Eastern Europe to join the economic development. So you will see that from that year, the GDP, this line is the global GDP. So the global GDP climbed up steady, okay? So, and also in, this is some of the record here, I'd like to share with you is in 1990 is the industrial, is the information revolution. In 1993, the European Union was established, 1993. China joined the WTO in 2000. WTO was formed in 1995. And that year, in that year, Amazon, Alibaba, Google were established between 1995 to 2000, only 5 years. So a lot of new digital company was formed. But the very key is that in year 2000, China joined the WTO. And from that, China GDP growth in average 12 to 13% every year since year 2000 until year 2012. From year 2012, the GDP growth of China fall down from 12% to 6% to 5%. Even people say that's only 3% because you never know what's the right number in China. Okay, right? So that's the year 2000. And in year 2009 is a global finance crisis. In 2009, global finance. So because of the corruption in Wall Street. Okay, so you see the global finance circuit. So you see it dropped in year 2009. And after that, a sheer economic trend has happened since the year 2010. So you see 2009 is a year of globalization and deglobalization. So some people call after 2009, the world get into the age of deglobalization. So what happened in the deglobalization age? Trump was elected as the president of US. So he started to say American #1, and he start to put the tax, the high import tax on China, and China also fighting back. So now the war is still ongoing. So I think that will cause a slowdown of the global economic. So sheer economic, global finance, and also the China reserve cause this kind of a deglobalization. So you need to know the mega trend of deglobalization. So talking about globalization, every country like the US and Europe move their factory to China. Okay, so China become the global #1 in manufacturing. So in year 2000, China only take 8% of the global manufacturing, only 8%. But by year 2015, China become 25%. Even now it's 25%. So they become a #1. But China, the US, come down from 22% to 17% just in 15 years. So this is what happened. And then Trump elected as the president, so he said, I always going to put American first. The same way you'd expect that all of you in this room, that's the speech he made in the APEC meeting in Vietnam, okay? And the Emperor Xi say, China's open door will not be closed. It will only be open wider. But I don't know whether you believe or not. You probably don't have the experience like me. I travel to China very often. So I cannot use my Google, I cannot use my Line in China. I'm forced to use WeChat, okay? So if I have the opportunity to meet Emperor Xi, I will talk to you. If you think that you want to be open, please open your, allow my line be operate in China. Allowing all the Taiwanese who travel to China can visit the website in Taiwan. You probably don't know the website in Taiwan are not allowed to visit in China. Or many of the websites, especially for the news, I cannot access all of my website in China. So if they say they are open, be honest, I don't believe. I don't know whether you believe or not. Okay? So anyway, you see, during this period, very high intense of conflict between China, US, and Europe. So this is the number of global manufacturing share in the world. China took 25%, Europe 20%, and US 18%. But because of the making in America, mega trend, another mega trend, making in America. So this is the Trump's strategy. He took some strategy last year. So in tax reform, workforce retraining, and also the digital manufacturing. So US will spend $115 billion in digitalization of the manufacturing, $40 billion in retrain the workforce. And also he already imposed many of the tax reform. He will reduce the corporate tax in US from 36 to 21. You know how much is Taiwan's the corporate tax nowadays? Anyone? Okay, because you don't need to pay, so you don't worry about it. So Taiwan nowadays is 17%. But very soon we will raise to 21%. 21%. Okay. China, how much percentage of China corporate tax? 25%. Europe, in general, in average, 35%. Japan, 45%. So if US reduce the corporate tax from 36% to 25%, what will happen? What will happen? This is probably the exercise, homework for you to think. If US reduce the corporate tax from 36% down to 25%, what will happen? Some of the, okay.
Corporations now have more money inside the United States they can spend on investing?
Yes, because saving all the money on the pocket, right? They can give the employee a better benefit and reinvest on the. And more important is that will attract some of the foreign manufacturing to set up the manufacturing in US. Even I know some of the Chinese manufacturing already set up the factory in US. One of the example is the one in Fujian. Is the number one of the window glass of automobile. They already set up a factory in Cincinnati. Okay, so you will see some change. So in the past, all the manufacturing moved to China. And because of the making in America strategies, you will probably will see some of the manufacturing. Some of the Americans are forced to go back to China. Some of the Chinese, some of the German, some of the Taiwanese companies will probably set up their factory in US. And you were asking, nowadays, you know what is the unemployment rate of US nowadays? Any guess? Unemployment rate, 4月里 in US? Less than 5%. 3.5%. So in US nowadays, it's almost 100% employment. But you will ask, if I move all the factory back to US, how can I get a worker? What's the solution? Automation. Industrial 4.0. So this is what they did. They want to make all the factory become digital manufacturing. They want to re-educate their workforce. They spend 40 billion in re-education. They will spend 15 billion in digital manufacturing. So I believe, I just read a report from Deloitte. By year 2021, this number will reverse. China will become 22, and US will become 23. Means by year 2022, US will become the #1 manufacturer again in 3 to 5 years. So this is their strategy. So this is the mega trend you need to understand. So my next question is, one of the professors in Stanford, he was asked by the student, because US will become, they say US they don't like to become a global leader. So the question is that can China become a global leader, next global leader? What do you think about this question?
The first question is, does China want to replace US?
He already said, he wants to become a global leader. Very good question. What is next? The second, you have any idea?
I don't know whether the West will accept China
as a leader. Yeah. If they are fair, if they are open, I think everyone are happy.
Yeah, but they're not.
If they are willing to send their soldiers to Syria to fight for peace, if they want to become a global leader, the answer of the professor is, are China ready to accept, pay for the cost of as a global leader? That's the answer of the professor. You have comment?
I don't think USA is the world leader anyway at the moment, because at least in Europe I don't think so, and I think in China they also see themselves as an emerging world leader. So I don't know.
Yes, China tried to become a leader. The answer to your first question, they try very much. They are very ambitious. So they have one Belt One Road strategy. They have Asian. They set up an Asian investment bank. So they are very ambitious to be a leader. But the problem is that as the global leader, you need to think how much you need to pay for. Let me ask you a question. You know, what is the GDP of US last year? Anyone knows? 19 trillion US. How much is GDP of China last year? Any idea? You think very close to China? Do you think? You think very close, right? Yeah, because China make the impression to everyone they are very strong. The GDP of China last year is 13 trillion. The gap is still 6 trillion. And China have a 1.3 billion population. US only 400 billion. So I think we are talking about the numbers. So we don't talking about just some of the, I don't like it. So based on number, we need to predict what will happen in the future based on number. So deglobalization is one of the mega trends that will impact all of the country in US, in China, in Taiwan, in Europe also. It can be an opportunity, but it also can be a threat. It's a threat, right? Okay. So next I'd like to share with you about the other mega trend is the share economic. I don't know whether you understand this concept of share economic or not. But if you have some study on the macroeconomic, you know this is the mega trend. So why Airbnb was established? They want to share what? Airbnb want to share their bed and breakfast. So you don't need to pay, don't pay a lot of money to stay at a 5-star hotel or 4-star hotel. So let's say, so that will impact who? Who will be impacted? Who will be impacted by Airbnb? Hotel? Yep. They don't own any single room, but they become the biggest hotel manufacturer. And you know the Uber. So I guess everyone had the experience of Uber, right? You ride the Uber. You know what's the value? What's the market cap of Uber nowadays? 70 billion. How much is it? The 70 billion even is higher than GM, the General Motors, 100 years car manufacturing. That is all because of the share economic. Okay, and the bicycle in China. If you have been if you have the chance to visit China, you will see this. Have you ever seen this? It's not a funny. This is a real one. If you visit any city in China nowadays, you will see this, because this is the share economic, share bicycle. So they adopt the wrong technology. So they allow the people to get the car, get the bicycle anywhere and return the bicycle any place. You just use the barcode to check out and check in. And that's the situation. So my conclusion is the share economy is good for the humankind, because we don't need to produce. We don't need to produce so many car, bicycle nowadays. Someone will be impacted, right? Giant has been impacted. Car manufacturing has been impacted. Actually, GM, Toyota, Nissan, everyone, every car manufacturer will be impacted by Uber, by the share economic, because people don't need to buy car as usual, as in the past. There's the statistics. The average utilization rate of a car in US is about only 12%. Only 12%. Every family nowadays in Taiwan owns 2 cars. So actually, the utilization of car nowadays is very low. So share car is a good concept. I would say that. But if the share economic can produce a positive value added to the humankind, it means nothing. 共享经济如果没有办法创造对人类的附加价值是没有意义的。That's what I like to try to express. Okay? And the next one is the disruptive technology. So Megatrend, you agree with me? Megatrend will impact any enterprise, good impact or bad impact, right? It's an opportunity, but in the other side, it's also a threat. So as a businessman, you need to understand the megatrend. The second reason I like to talk is the disruptive technology. What is the disruptive technology? Why all the PC giants like Acer, like Lenovo, like Hewlett Packard are in no bad situation, no good situation. Actually, they are struggling for survive. Why? Notebook was replaced by whom? By this. Mobile phone replaced all of the computer. iPad replaced all of the notebook. That's called disrupt technology. So many disrupt technology happen every day. But you need to be, you should be able to identify whether this technology is disruptive or not. If you have a good business model, any technology can be a disruptive technology. So the second one is technology. I'd like to share with you some of the disruptive intelligent sensor. What's the intelligent sensor? Sensor is to try to convert the data of physical data into a digital data. So the sense, mass, MCU, connectivity, these are all what Advantech do today. We're talking about IoT. So I know Professor Yang, he's talking about teaching about the IoT. So you need to know this kind of intelligent sensor will become disruptive. And the second one is the low power wide area network. It's another disruptive technology I saw. And NB-IoT, network IoT, narrowband IoT. So if you are from engineering school, I saw some of your background are double background. You need to know what's the LPWA, why we need to LPWA, okay? And also you heard about IoT, Industry 4.0. You heard about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence nowadays is becoming a buzzword. Everyone talk about, from the president to the streamman. They are able to talk about AI, artificial intelligence. And they talk about the machine learning and the deep learning. So this is all the disruptive technology. You need to pay attention because this is going to change the life of your company, of your business. I just give you some of, in my industry, in my business. In the past, there are 3 disruptive technologies. IoT, Industry 4.0, and also artificial intelligence. This is the 3 disruptive technologies. So talking about IoT, I think IoT is not just happened yesterday. IoT is the Internet of Things based on Internet. Connect all the things together to generate the value added, to generate intelligence. So this is IoT. So IoT starts from Internet. Internet was the event around 1985, become popular. But even in year 2000, the penetration rate of IoT Internet globally is only 4.7% in year 2000, just 18 years ago, only 4.7%. Even many professors don't use Internet. But nowadays, by year 2017 or 18, the global IoT, the Internet penetration is about up to 60%. Even Taiwan, I think the percentage is even higher, 70%, or in some of the North Europe countries, they are even 80%, 90%. So because of the Internet and because of the wireless, I don't know whether you know who announced the first Wi-Fi notebook. Intel announced the Centrino in year 2006. This is the first notebook with the Wi-Fi function, embedded with Wi-Fi. And then IBM raised the concept of smart planning, and also in China, the Wen Jiabao mentioned about Shenzhen, China, and also in year 2011, in the, German mentioned about Industry 4.0, and US, and then make in China. So this is the all related technology. So IoT is not just happened today. This come a long way. So in the structure of IoT, I think there are 4 key elements. First one is sensor. I mentioned about intelligent sensor, right? So everything can be sensed. For example, we are in this room. In the classroom, I found the temperature is going up a little bit. And I believe the density of CO2, CO1 or CO2 is increasing. So will make you fall asleep. So this is a sensor. Without the sensor, I don't know. But in Advantech, in our meeting room, we install all of the temperature, moisture, and also the CO2 sensor. So when the CO2 sensor indication that the CO2 increase up to some limit, that will trigger a oxygen generator. We will pump in oxygen to make the meeting room with more oxygen or lower down the CO2. So this is all of the technology of IoT. First, you need to a sensor. The second one, you should have a wireless network. You need a wireless network. Okay, wireless. So there are many different kinds of technology of wireless, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, also Gbit, and recently I mentioned about the LPWA, LoRa, Sigfox. You guys heard about LoRa? Have you heard about Sigfox? It's from French. And also MPLT. This is all the new disruptive technology. And third one is the PaaS. It's a platform as a service. And also the big data analytics. So this is the key component of the IoT. So if you are not an engineer, you don't need to understand. But at least you should know the structure of IoT. And sensor, we're talking about a mass, we're talking about a chip, SiP, silicon in package. We're talking about the miniatures, low power, and also multi-function. So this is all the technology of the sensor. Okay? As I mentioned about the LPWA, low cost, low power, long range, like a LoRa, like a Sigfox, like a NB-IoT, because this is all the fundamental of our future IoT world. And only the LPWA can really make the IoT as a mass connectivity. So you can connect, you probably heard about that by year 2030, there will be more than 60 billion devices will be connected through the internet. 60 billion, 600亿个 device. So you make image, if all the device consume a lot of power, so then it will become a disaster. So that's the reason we focus on low power, and also the long range. Okay, and this is the flowchart of the Industrial 4.0. So we don't have time to go through, but you should know that Industrial 4.0 is a concept to adapt the robot, the AGV. AGV is the automatic guided machine, and also adopt the sensor, 3D printing, and also the cloud computing in the manufacturing flow. So in a way, we can improve the productivity and efficiency of the manufacturing. So I just give you some of the example. This is the step by step of the Industrial 4.0, from machine automation, and then machine connection, data collection. The step is the MES integration, process visualization, and then the big data analytics, and also the predictive maintenance. So by doing that, it's easy to improve 30% of your productivity and reduce 25% of your cost. So that means recap again, machine connection, and then process visualization. This is a part of the process of visualization. You can put all of the data of your manufacturing into one single room. So in one single room, you can understand all the machine status in one single room. Okay, I'd like to share with this chart with you. This is an example of Advantech, our own factory. We implement Industrial 4.0 since year 2015. So this is a number of 16 and 17. In year 2017, our production value increased 16.3% compared with year 2016. The demand increased 16%, but the total number of employees reduced 2.2%. How can we make it? Because we improved the productivity by 17%, and we reduced the cost by 7.8%. Okay, and we reduced the utilization of power consumption by 7.8%. Improved the production lead time, improved lead time by 30% in average, and increased the utilization of machine by 20%, 7%, 5.5%, depends on machine. So this is showing you the example that Industrial 4.0 is really the technology that you can make the products in the country where labor cost is higher. So that's the reason why US, you still can make the product in US. So people say that if iPhone move all the manufacturing back to US, then nobody can afford the iPhone. So is that true? It may not true because of automation. Okay, actually, I read a report that the average, the overall cost of manufacturing comparison, the overall manufacturing cost is including the labor cost, utility, gas, oil, and also efficiency, transportation. If you consider the overall manufacturer efficiency, if you use US as a benchmark as 100, then China is about 96, Taiwan is 97. Means max thing in Taiwan and China is almost similar cost. And make the thing in US is 3% higher than China and US. So it means to make this thing in US is feasible. It's 100% feasible. Okay? You heard about the deep learning. You heard about the AI. So AI, actually, again, AI is not a new thing. It's AI. People start to talking AI since the 1950s. And then also talking about machine learning and the deep learning. And why nowadays people start to so much intensify talking about AI? Because of three reasons. Because we have a lot of data nowadays. Because of internet, we generate a lot of data every day. And because of the computing power increase, the cost to produce, to process data cost is decreased year by year, day by day. And third one is that all the software regarding AI will become open source. Open source means you don't need to pay for the software. So because of three reasons, the AI become very, very popular. So what is AI? Basically, you should have an AI platform. The AI platform consists of computing power and the algorithm. You need the software. And also you need the data. You need the data. Without the data, no AI. So put all the data into the AI platform. Then you can start to apply to generate the intelligence from artificial intelligence. So some of the key data, computing power, AI algorithm is the three fundamental of artificial intelligence. So by putting all the data into your algorithm, through a volume of data, you can fine-tune, you can refine your algorithm. So make your algorithm become very, very smart. So even they can tell you, the AI can differentiate, this is a banana, this is an apple, this is an orange. They can even smarter than people. Okay? And I think this chart is quite interesting. So this is a report from Bank of America Merrill Lynch. So they predict by year 2025, the total economic value of AI every year is about 125 billion. Among the 125 billion, only 40% from software, 30% from hardware, 56% from service. Service means application. Okay? So reason why the software is only take 14%, because all the software of AI will become open source, like TensorFlow, like Coffee, like TNDK. All of the software are open source, contributed by those companies like Microsoft and Google and Amazon. And this is a software. This is hardware, 30%. Advantech is in this business. So Taiwan also produced all the semiconductor for AI and also the system and the module for the AI. So this is the AI. And last one is the software. The software is all different kind of software, application software. So AI is the application business. It's the application business, not a software business. Okay? So last one, I'd like to talk about the innovation business model. We understand the mega trend can impact your business. The disruptive technology happen every day will disruptive your business. And last one is if you don't have the innovative business model design, you cannot make it happen. So you understand? So let's look at some of the business model like online shopping, Alibaba, JD, this and Amazon. They use a lot of online shopping technology here, and e-payment, and also online to offline, and drone delivery. Those are the business model. They adopt the industry disruptive technology and design with the business model. So again, without a good business model, you cannot benefit from your disruptive technology and also the mega trend. Because of time constraint, I cannot go into detail. But I'd like to share with you one book written by Christensen. He's the author of Innovation Dilemma, and also he wrote a book. It's Innovator's DNA. This book is quite a nice book to teach you how to become an innovator. So he mentioned about 5 skills: questioning skill, observation skill, networking skill, experience skill, and also associational thinking skill. This is the 5 skills. If you understand all the skills and you practice all the skills, you will become a good innovator. So I would encourage you to read this book, written by Christensen. This book, number of the book is the Innovator's DNA. Okay, also have a Chinese one from 天下杂志. So this is a nice book I like to recommend you guys to read. And he mentioned about how to associational thinking is to connect or connecting the dot. Because you questioning always cause questioning, always observing, use your eye, use your ear to understand. And then networking. Networking means to exchange idea with your peer, with your classmate, and then make the experiment. So then you will become a good innovator. Okay, this part I just skipped because time strain. I'd like to share with you this. This is one of the, I think it's a very innovative startup company in Taiwan called Sunny Founder. The 中文名字叫阳光伏特加. You know this company? You know Sun? You know Sun? Yeah. Okay. It's a Sunny Founder. This is a very innovative. Okay, actually they don't. You know, so Taiwan we claim that by year 2025, Taiwan will become a non-nuclear country. So we need to generate a lot of green energy. So how can we generate more green energy? So this company, they adopt the 共享 share economic and the green energy and the cloud racing, and also social enterprise kind of concept. So they become a startup company. So it means they get a rooftop, and then they design a solar generator on the rooftop, but they don't have the capital, so they do collecting the money by crowdfunding. Every share is 10,000 NT. So you can buy 1 share or 10 share or even 20 share. So every project, they do the crowd raising. So they start to help many of the rooftop to install the solar generators, the solar electric generation. So this is a very, I think this is a very good business model. I will encourage you, if you are interested, you can visit their website and understand why I think this is the good. They adopt the business model and also the, okay, so my conclusion is following up the mega trend, looking for disruptive technology and practice your innovation. Buy the skill, but I don't have the time to. Next, I'd like to share with you about talent. As I mentioned that we have more than 2,000 global talent in the world. How can we manage? How can we develop all the talent? So I'd like to share with you we have a two practice. One is every year we have a global camp program. So we train our global talent, put together in Taiwan for 2 weeks kind of training. And also we have a TCAP program, temporary assignment, coverage assignment program for those people we want to develop. So we have this kind of program we call TCAP. And this is the story that really, if we want to establish a new office, new branch office, what we need, first we need to talent. So how can we get all the talent? So one of the example we have in India is I failed. I tried to find someone willing to dispatch to India as an office, the office manager, but I failed 5 times. Because India is really a tough market. Okay, it's really a tough market. But the first one, I sent them 2 weeks and they came back. He said, I'm sorry, I cannot go. Why? Because he has a stomach issue for 10 days. We understand, right? And the second one, I sent him and come back 2 weeks. He said, I'm sorry, I cannot go. Why? Because he's the Christian. He cannot find a church to pray in the weekend. So it's also a good reason. So, okay. And then the third one, I try convince, and the third one is willing to go. After come back, he said, I'm sorry, I get an offer from another company. They want to send me to US. So compare with US and India. So US is the better place. Okay, I don't have no use. The third one is, the first one is a lady. I say, why you willing to go to India? He said, because her boyfriend is Indian. So he met in US and they will go back to India. But after 3 months, she still not go. I say, why you still here? Say, because it's broken. Okay. So the first one and the last one, I forget. So I get 2 young engineers from Beijing. Okay, I train them I hire a tutor to teach them English. After 3 months, they go to India together. And this time I'm lucky, so they stay for 9 months and 1 year. So I start up the India office. That's a story of 10 years ago. So it's not easy to get the right talent to the global. So my last few slides is I'd like to encourage all of you guys, especially for those guys in Taiwan. So your career is not limited to Taiwan and China. China is one of the options, but definitely if you don't like, I suggest you don't need to go. There are a lot of opportunity everywhere in every country, everywhere in the world. So think about as a young talent, you need to think about go abroad. I'd like to give you one of the example. 5 years ago, I take a business trip to Russia. I take a train, high-speed train from Moscow to St. Petersburg. And a young guy sit in the same train with me face to face. And I start to chat with him. He told me he's from Brazil. And he has been working for 3 years. And after 3 years, he had saved some money. He decided to prepare himself for next challenge. So he decided to take 1 year break, and he planned to travel around the world. He planned to travel more than 20 countries, spend 1 year. And okay, so he showed me all the detailed agenda and what he planned to do in Germany, in Nepal, in India, in China. It's really impressed very much to me. So in the end of the trip, I give my name card to him, say, this is my name card. I have an office in Sapporo. Okay, and this is my signature. So if you go back to Brazil, and in case you cannot find a good job, please take this card to find my office manager in Brazil. And I promise, I guarantee I will offer you a job. Because I believe this kind of young people who has the courage to invest himself and to explore his own potential, I definitely believe he's the talent that every country requires. So young guys, think about, are you really develop yourself? Are you really invest yourself enough to develop your own self? Don't complain. You don't need to complain. So the world is big and the future is bright. So think about this, budget guys. So recently, my last slide I'd like to share with you is that as a future talent, you must be has some imagination. You should have the ability to describe, to talk about the future opportunity. And you should develop your leadership, and you will become a future CEO. Okay, because of time constraints, so this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your speech.